I've been in the Finance Centre Council for pretty much 15 years, and I've had the benefit of working with lots of ministers of financial services. When Albert Isola came into the post about 2 years ago, he brought a freshness that we've not seen before. He's adopting an approach to Gibraltar PLC that actually is devoid of party politics. As a member of the professional services, it's an absolute benefit to have someone like Albert. I'm very glad that he's chosen to stand again. I do hope that he contributes like he has over the next 4 years. So I wish him well at this election.
I think what you've seen this past 4 years for the first time ever is a whole series of initiatives where two ministries have linked and worked closely together. That never happened before. Why didn't that happen before? Because there was a singular decision process through the top. Today that's totally out in the open. I always say that the bricks and mortar changes that you've seen around Gibraltar, so the park, the houses, the refurbishment of the estates, the improvements to our health and educational systems, the new university, the new bank, these are all bricks and mortar changes, but there's been a far bigger revolution inside than there has been in terms of the bricks and mortar and how government operates. By having a chief minister who delegates entirely to his ministers, he enables and empowers them to get on with their jobs. And I don't think that can ever be underestimated. We are each trusted by our chief minister to get on with our responsibilities. And when you then look at what we've done in financial services, how we've interacted with the private sector, our doors are open. We talk to people. They are the ones that know the business better than we do. So pre-2011, their views were almost ignored. For you to see the minister or the government in those days was almost impossible. Today, we meet regularly with all the associations. We look at legislation together. The change has been, for me, absolutely dramatic. In the last 4 years, we have over 15 new companies that have come and been licensed in Gibraltar. The number of staff has grown by over 1,000. The income that we receive from the gaming sector has also grown. We're now going into a phase where there is a huge amount of consolidation in the sector. So lots of companies, big companies, are merging. What will the result of that be? I believe there will be a short-term dip in the numbers employed, and then there'll be a medium to long-term increase. How many times do you remember over the past month talking about financial services, talking about gaming, talking about business and commerce? You don't hear it. Why don't you hear it? Because there isn't a problem. It's going better than it ever has done before. So it hasn't featured in this campaign at all. And that's quite staggering, because those are the issues that were at the forefront of people's minds in 2011. And that demonstrates just how much of a shift and a change there has been since 2011. I think the Gibraltar International Bank will look back in years, 10, 15, 20 years' time, and say, good God, thank God we did that, because it is the future. The bank meets personal needs, corporate needs, mortgage needs, loan needs. And don't forget, one of the critical things about the Gibraltar International Bank is that people said, a government bank? That's terrible. A bank in the hands of politicians. But of course, what we said we would do is we would deliver a modern and innovative bank for the people of Gibraltar. What does that mean? That means a bank that is ahead of the day in terms of its technology, which it is. A bank that is independently managed by banking professionals, which of course it is. And an independent board of directors where there isn't even a minister on the board of directors. And that's a key thing about this government. Everything that we have promised we would do, we have done. We have delivered on what we said we would do. And the bank is a shining example of that principle. When we announced the opening of the bank, Barclays just announced their downsizing to a very much smaller operation. There was nowhere else for us to go. Gibraltar could not put itself in the hands of banks that could decide at any day to leave for whatever reason, for reasons totally unrelated to Gibraltar. And so to set up the bank in the way that we've done within a record period of time, providing retail banking to meet the local demands, mortgages, loans, desperately needed by our community, not just for now, but for the next 20, 30 and 40 years, where we will also have profits coming back from it, I think it's a fantastic achievement for our government to have done that, and I'm very proud and privileged to have been involved in delivering that process. I think it's a staggeringly good investment for Gibraltar PLC. I think financial services is going through a massive change. We talked about the compliance and the regulatory environment has changed dramatically. We need to be quicker, better, and cheaper than many other jurisdictions. And everywhere I go, I speak about quality, regulation, and reputation. Those, for me, are the three key words about everything that we do in financial services, and indeed in gaming, and indeed in the port. We need to become a centre of excellence. Financial centres all around the world are constantly upgrading themselves, bettering themselves, becoming better at what they do, and updating their products to make sure they're fit for purpose. We have never done that. We haven't done that for absolute years. So in 2011, when we were elected, there was a commitment made to review the products. So we've had a whole series of working groups looking at foundations, limited liability partnerships, trust companies, private trust vehicles. All of these things have been done by working with the sector, saying, right, how do we get better at what we do in financial services? We've introduced insurance-linked securities. Just some months ago, George Osborne in the United Kingdom announced he wanted the United Kingdom to be the leader of the ILS space in Europe. Well, we actually launched that 12 months ago. It shows how, with some creative, innovative thinking, you can actually get ahead of the curve. So we're looking for businesses that will bring people to Gibraltar to set up a business with people here running them. There's a limit to what we can do if we set up a fund in Gib, which invests all over the world. We want the people to be in Gibraltar, carrying out the work, carrying out the admin, carrying out the claims, with the expertise here in Gibraltar to do the business. And that's why many of the areas that we're looking at are areas which will increase the spread of the products that the Financial Services Centre has, but also at the same time create activity, create employment, because that's after all what we're really trying to do. I think Gibraltar 2025 is going to be critical in the coming years for a whole host of reasons. But briefly, we are setting up a council which will be a complete interaction between government, private sector and the unions. With what in mind? To look at a 10-year programme for the economy of Gibraltar. To look at a far longer than the 4-year cycles politicians generally do. We need to take a much longer term view of our economy, where we believe we're strong, where we believe we're weak, and what we believe we need to do to improve that. We have to build a strong economy. Without a strong economy, we cannot do the things we need to in our health, in our environment, in our educational system. And so the economy is absolutely pivotal in everything that we do. So when we talk about a prospering financial services community, or a growing gaming community, or an improved situation within the trade and the wholesalers and the retailers, and more passengers coming in on ships, and more passengers coming in on planes, and more airlines coming, and more visitors coming, those are all things that enable us to do what we want to do most, which is to help and change ordinary working people's lives. I think the answer really is one of trust. We were entrusted in 2011. People voted for a change. People voted for a new group of people with fresh ideas, with energy, and prepared to work, putting Gibraltar first, second, and third. And I think that's exactly what we've done. So when people are looking from 2015 forward for the next 4 years, I think they can trust us knowing that what we say we will do, because we have delivered. And I remember when I stood in the by-election in 2013, and the slogan was delivering the change. I'd never imagined the pace, the intensity, and the energy that was required to deliver that change. But look, the 10 of us have achieved that, not by ourselves, but in real and genuine partnership with the public sector, with the private sector. This has really been a team effort. What we've been able to achieve these past 4 years has only been possible because everyone's pulled together. We're all on the same side. We're all on the same page. We're all in the same team. So what I'm really saying is trust us for a further 4 years, because with that trust, I think people now know that we will not let you down.